You ever walk into a room and just feel invisible? You see those people who just command attention, and you're over there working your tail off, trying to be good, trying to be competent, but you just get overlooked. And you're left thinking, what gives? Why isn't my hard work enough? Okay, let's get real for a second, because there's a brutal truth that nobody really likes to talk about. And boom, there it is. See, you've probably been trying to connect with powerful people by being a friend, but here's the thing. They don't need more friends. They need assets. They need leverage. If you want to get into those inner circles where things actually happen, you have to completely shift your mindset. It's not about looking for validation anymore. It's about providing real, tangible value. When you really boil it all down, the world is made up of two kinds of people. You've got the players, the ones who make the moves, and you've got the pieces, the ones who get moved. So you got to ask yourself, which one are you? Now look at this, because this is the whole game right here. The piece is constantly looking for approval, asking for handouts, and they're an open book. And you know what? If I know what you want, I know exactly how to control you. But the player, they're playing a totally different game. They're looking for leverage, they're offering transactions, and you can't quite figure them out. That little bit of mystery, that's what creates attraction. That's power. And this brings us to a guy named Niccolo Machiavelli. He wrote The Prince like 500 years ago, and it wasn't a manual for how to be a villain. It was a manual for reality. He just understood that human beings are driven by some really raw, basic stuff: self-interest, fear, and vanity. If you pretend those things don't exist, you're always going to be a piece on someone else's board. So let's be super clear what we're about to go over. This is not your typical friendly networking advice. Think of this as a toolkit of psychological weapons. These are the keys that unlock the entire machine of power. By the end of this, you're not going to see a powerful person as some intimidating figure anymore. You're going to see them as a puzzle, and you're going to have the key. All right, so how do we get our hands on these keys? We're going to unlock 5 of Machiavelli's most potent principles for building strategic connections that actually get you somewhere. First up, law number 1. And trust me, this one is a classic for a very, very good reason. The first law is never outshine the master. This is the biggest mistake almost everybody makes. You get in front of somebody influential and your ego just takes over, right? You want to show them how smart you are, how capable you are. You think you're earning respect, but what you're actually doing is the exact opposite. You're breeding insecurity. And this just nails the psychology. When you make your boss or a superior feel less intelligent, you trigger their primal survival instinct. They're going to push you aside, not because you're bad at your job, but because your talent makes them feel threatened. So what's the play? You gotta dim your light a little. Use camouflage. Make your great ideas sound like they were their ideas. You let them take the credit while you quietly build your influence behind the scenes. Now, building on that whole idea of subtlety, let's slide right into law number 2. Law 2, conceal your intentions. Look, a person who is predictable is a person who is controllable. Most people, you can read them like a book. Their eyes are just screaming, I need something from you. And that, it just reeks of desperation. And desperation is the ultimate repellent to power. To play in the big leagues, you have to be a bit of an enigma. And the psychology here is just so powerful. When people can't get a read on your endgame, they get curious. They start to project their own hopes and their own desires onto you, which, guess what, puts you in complete control of the conversation. So be charming, be friendly, but keep your real ambition under lock and key until the time is right. All right, now for a law that is going to completely flip the script on everything you've ever been taught about asking for things. Law number 3, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. This is exactly where the nice guy approach just completely fails. You go to a powerful person, you tell them your sad story, you appeal to their good nature. They might smile, they might nod, and then they will do absolutely nothing. Why? Because asking for mercy just makes you another problem on their plate, and they're drowning in problems. So, the strategic move here is to change the way you talk. Stop asking for favors and start offering transactions. Do your homework, find out their problems, their rivals, what keeps them up at night, and then you present yourself as the solution to that pain. Self-interest. That's the only language that is universally understood in the halls of power. Speak it fluently, and you go from being a beggar to a partner. Okay, let's jump ahead to law number 5. which is a subtle, but man, is it an effective psychological technique. This is all about becoming a mirror. People don't want you to challenge them. They want you to confirm what they already believe. So you subtly match them, their pace of talking, the words they use, even their posture. It's like this weird neurological sync-up. On a subconscious level, their brain just goes, hey, this person is like me. They're safe. They'll become almost addicted to having you around because you make them feel so understood and, well, brilliant. And for our final key, we're going to jump to what might be the ultimate Machiavellian rule for building real long-term power. Law number 11. Law 11 is to create dependence. This is absolutely critical. If you can be replaced by a simple job post on LinkedIn, you are not safe. You have to weave yourself into the very fabric of their operation until getting rid of you is just too painful to even consider. And that's the end goal right there. You want to go from being an employee to being a vital organ. So how do you do it? Find a task that is essential to their success, but that they absolutely hate doing, and you master it. You become the bridge between them and something they desperately need: a client, a system, a piece of info. When they realize they can't burn that bridge without setting their own house on fire, you've won. So, after hearing all of this, you're at a crossroads. A choice emerges. And it's not really about what these laws are. It's about who you decide you're going to be now that you know them. And that's the real question, isn't it? You can keep being a piece, getting moved around the board by other people, maybe complaining that the game is unfair, or you can accept the rules for what they are and decide right now to become a player. It's time to grab the wheel. Now, some people will hear this and say it's cold, or that it's manipulative. But this isn't about becoming a bad person. It's about being a realist. This is the language of human nature. The powerful people you see, they're just players who figured out these rules a little earlier than you did. This is about learning how to speak to people's true motivations, not just the polite mask they wear every day. You know, the world is designed to lull you right back to sleep, to keep you as a nice, compliant piece on the board. But once you've seen how the game is played, you can't unsee it. So if you're ready to keep sharpening your mind and cutting through all the noise, make a choice. Don't just close this window. Subscribe to Mindscapes by Faizu. It's a signal to yourself that you are done being a spectator. It's time to play.